Hi everyone, welcome to the end of January general reading. We're going to be covering love, we're going to be covering career / money, finances, and I'm going to be time stamping for everything below. I want to first start though, I'm going to be starting at the beginning of all of the signs with this particular astrological component where I mix it with tarot. I don't know, I've never done this actually on YouTube, but I think it's a way of helping a lot of you who are very interested in connecting tarot to astrology, having to do with the cards. And we're just going to be talking about a lot of the big stuff that's going to be happening the end of this month. But if you're not into that, no worries. Check the timestamps in the description box below and just pop forward to whatever it is that you're interested during this point, whether it's a relationship, career, whatever it is, okay? But for those of you who are interested, let's talk about what's going on and let's connect it to the cards. My name's Jackie. Thank you so much for joining me, for those of you who are new. So listen, the big star for the end of this month really is going to be the full moon in Leo, right? That's happening on the 28th, but there's a lot of energy sort of surrounding it, right? Coming up to that point. What is Leo, right? Leo is the strength energy, right? So for us to have this full moon in Leo, beautiful, because what is the moon? The moon is about our intuition, right? The moon is also the story that we tell ourselves. It has to do with the moon does rule our home. But, even in a metaphorical way, our foundation, what we need to feel very grounded, rooted, safe, and secure. And with the Leo energy, we're tapping into all of that, having to do with romance. How grounded, rooted, safe, and secure do we feel in that? How about our children, creativity, entrepreneurial efforts, just our idea of fun, right? Leo is a fun energy and it's super romantic. It has to do with falling in love, love affairs, romance, how we connect with our partner on a Monday through Sunday, what we do for fun because we love to do it, taking something that we love and figuring out a way to make money at it. It has to do with anything that we create, which is why it's also the house of children. It's also the house of gambling as well. But anyway, so what do we have going on here, right? So we have this full moon, right? The moon, right? Full moon in Leo. And we have this working with the Aquarius sun, right? This is what happens. They're opposite each other, right? So there's going to be a lot of light shown on this. And what is the sun? The sun is our focus. It's material happiness. It's the ability to have the outcome, first of all, that we're really looking for, but it's where our focus is geared, right? Now, to have it in Aquarius, which is the star energy, is all about focusing on the future, looking at where do you need to have a renewed sense of hope. Where in this Leo energy might you need some inner clarity having to do with your romance, or a situation having to do with your kids, or what it is that you're doing for a living. So I really kind of feel like, doesn't that cover so much, right? So there's going to be a lot going on with this, because it's going to be, the sun is going to be shining on this moon energy. Now in relationships, it can often bring this need for resolve, or this need, at least, is going to be a confrontation of these ideas. Now that can sound negative, but it doesn't have to be, because what is it all about? The star energy with the sun is about, let's pay attention to what we need to focus on in order to fix something. Now, what I love about this particular full moon, this one, is that the sun, it's going to be at 9 degrees Aquarius, right? 9 degrees Leo for the moon, 9 degrees Aquarius for the sun. This is going to be beautifully conjunct optimistic Jupiter, which is the Wheel of Fortune, which is about good energy and a turning point, and the need to take a chance on something. It's on something. It is gambling, right? It is that gambling energy. Again, with the gambling, I don't know, go play scratch off, but I love this energy for the end of the month. There's going to be so much focus on this. Now, additionally, this sun and moon dynamic, this is going to be forming a T-square to Mars. Mars is going to be in Taurus. So what is Mars? Mars in Taurus. We have the Tower energy and the Hierophant having a baby. So like, what? Wait a minute. What does that mean? Well, what is the Tower? Tower is Mars. Well, what is it, right? In Tarot, everybody's like, oh, I don't want the Tower. That means the complete annihilation of something. It means ruin, upheaval, disgrace. You know what it means? It's Mars, right? What is Mars obsessed with? Putting us on our rightful path. What is really meant to happen? And if you're on a path, whether it's a relationship, a job, any sort of situation, that Mars has been flipping up the red flags in your face, and we all do it, right? We all ignore it when we want to. We all do. It's part of the human condition. It's like, no, I don't want to look at that because I really want this to work, kind of thing. Well, Mars is posing the question, is that really the right thing for you? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But it's time that if it is, and you're not appreciating something, there's got to be an update in that perception. If, and again, it doesn't have to be this complete ruin pulling down. We have these internal tower moments where we're changing our perception of how we view something. Now, having it work with the Hierophant energy, right? This is Taurus. Taurus is the Hierophant. This is about traditions and conventions and expectations and conformity. And what is it that you really, really want? Are you on that path of where you really want to be? So because it's creating this T-square, guys, just so you understand, right, the way T-square works in astrology. So here we have the sun and the moon, and then you have the center point. That creates the T. And the angle of that T, which would be the angle of Mars and Taurus, is where that focus is going to be. So this is going to be giving a lot of drive to figure out solutions to what's going on in this area. Now, there can be with this inflated expectations. There could be possible like impatience going on. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it could definitely be that. There could be this energy of, even though we have that sun, and I think this is going to be helping it though, is going to be conjunct this Jupiter energy. That's just going to be amping up because Jupiter is about growth and expansion. So take whatever it's hanging with and expand it, right? So you just want to be careful now, taking it outside the box a little bit, that Jupiter-Mars dynamic. You want to be careful of arrogance, of hubris, of overdoing, of over anything. But I don't want to downplay the positive energy that this is going to be bringing. The level of hope in romance, in creative endeavors, in where you're going. This is going to be very, very hopeful. It really, really is. But I just want to make sure that you have a little bit of temperance going on here. And I didn't pull a temperance card, but the temperance card, that's like a Sagittarius energy. Maintain your integrity, right? You want to maintain your integrity while you move forward. So it really is about just temper things. Be a little patient as these energies are hitting, because this is what's going to happen in this energy. There's going to be a huge desire to drive forward, especially the 23rd to the 26th. We do have Mars in a square with Jupiter, right? So that square right there is going to create, when I break it out into your signs, I'm going to explain how it's going to be impacting each of your sun and rising signs, directly. But there is this idea that we have to come to terms with something, right? There's got to be this energy where if we have Mars in tension with Jupiter, this is like the tower being in tension with the wheel. Well, this is a very fortunate energy. This is about taking a chance and things going well, but it does need to, what you have to do though is understand what needs to be released or updated. Even if nothing's being released, you might just need to change the way that something is being perceived. So we have that energy going into this full moon, going into this T-square. So we have all of that going on. So at the bottom line of all of that, hopeful, let's go, let's change, let's problem solve, really. Let's just figure things out. But the challenge here, guys, is going to be a couple of things. I mean, we do have, first of all, and what I like here that's going to be added into all of this, I love that we're going to have Venus and Pluto at an almost exact conjunction at the end of the month. So Venus is all about the Empress energy. This is the Empress. This is about growth and expansion. She's the mother of the tarot. It's not only about love, it's money as well. Venus is money. It's one of the money planets. It's self-worth, self-value. How good do you feel about being in something? Do you feel loved? Are you loving what you do? Are you able to grow in what you're doing? And we have that conjunct, which means it's blending with Pluto, which is all about transformation. So there's definitely changes going on in the money sector. There are changes going on in relationship. Could be one of those areas, none, one or all of them. But this could also be internal transformation when we're talking about Venus with Pluto. You're changing the way you see yourself. You're changing the way that your self-concept and feeling really good. Or maybe not good, but I think good because it's Venus there, which is really pushing you to change in a very positive way if you're experiencing like that and not in money or relationship. So I'm not mad at that energy at all. I mean, Pluto can be this disruptive energy in that it's all about endings and beginnings, but let's focus on the beginning part. Focus on the gift. Don't focus on the negative, because then you're never going to be able to really manifest the positive if you keep focusing on the negative of something, right? So we have all of this going on, and I really do feel like from a holistic point, there's a lot of negotiation going on here, having to do with relationships, career, money. Depends on how it's going to be hitting you specifically. But I wanted to give this kind of energy read because a lot of people don't know their placements. They don't know what time they're born, to check their chart, their house placements, because you need to know that time of birth to know all of your house placements. So I want to give just, you're going to know, you're going to vibrate, you're going to be feeling it. So now I do want to also, before I talk about Mercury going retrograde, I do want to talk about the fact that we're going to have Mercury, the Sun, Jupiter, and Venus on a collective level, And I'm talking about according to and I know a lot of you guys watch me who are not living in the States, in the United States, but those of you who are living in the States, I can't do it for every country, obviously. The collective energy, we have a lot of expansive energies here in the 8th house. So the eighth house is about coming to financial terms, financial agreements, right? So we have Mercury, communication, Sun, focus, Jupiter, luck and expansion, Venus having to do with money and love in the 8th house, the end of the month. So I definitely think that this speaks to those of us who are familiar, like with the stimulus situation going on, anything like that. All right. Now this is going to be in conjunct, though. I do want to mention this, in conjunct with Saturn, the transiting Sun, Jupiter, Mercury, and all of that in the 3rd, right? So we have this dynamic between communication and settling up on something. So why do I want to mention this? Well, first of all, I know it's wonderful to say everything is in that 8th house where it seems like really positive, and it is. But you have to understand what an in conjunct means is tension with the 3rd house of communication. So when you have Saturn, hanging out where it's in conjunct Mercury, which is the magician, we have this idea of there needs to be this culmination of this lesson learned, right? There does, because that's the world energy, through this very focused creativity. There needs to be this idea of the ability to turn a vision in the mind's eye into reality. So there's going to be a lot of negotiations. Now, I think the fact that this is leading into February, which is going to have Mercury retrograde. Mercury is going to be retrograde, and it's going to be pre-shadow the last 2 weeks of this month. It's going to be stationary on the 29th into the 30th, which means that there's going to be a culmination of issue having to do with communication, right? And then we go into Mercury retrograde for the month of February. And the thing is, I'm not mad at this, guys. You can't stop life. This is so necessary. If we just look at it from a societal level, and a lot of you, I'm sure, even on a personal level, where it's this time for negotiation. You say, well, wait a minute, Jackie. Mercury is a terrible energy to negotiate in. No, it's not. Not if what's been put on the table was configured prior to the Mercury retrograde. It's fantastic. Glass half full. No, it's not a good time to maybe start something brand spanking new or to suggest something brand spanking new. But as we're connecting this to the collective and we're talking about finances and things like that, and people getting the help that they need, because I think a lot of you guys need to understand this right now, there's going to be heavy negotiations. And this is really positive because all of this stuff has been set in motion before Mercury retrograde. So you have to understand that. If you put in for a job position before Mercury retrograde and you're in the space of negotiation, good. If you're negotiating a contract, a lease, the buying of a home, the selling of a home that started before this point that we're discussing, this is good because it slows everything down so that we can look at everything more clearly. We can see the minutia of everything, right? Because Mercury is such a fast energy, sometimes we need to slow it down and pull it back in order to not miss any of the very important details. So that's going to be going on, having to do with February. I did the February astrology only, if you guys want to check out that video. But that's what everybody's going to be dealing with. Now I'm going to go pull for your particular sign. Okay, see you on the other side. Bye-bye. Hey Taurus, I hope you guys are doing great today. So, you guys have a lot going on, like in your, what you really want to do in your career that's going to end up bringing you a really strong foundation. It's the best way for me to sort of holistically put it all together. We have this Mars squaring Jupiter. Mars is going to be in your first house, right? Because Mars is going to be in you, right? In your first house itself. So you're going to have that warrior spirit in there, feeling really brave and just kind of wanting to conquer. It's going to be squaring Jupiter, which is about expansion in that 10th house of career. It could be a frustrating energy where you're feeling like you see in your mind's eye what you want to do, but you can't actually bring it to fruition yet. You almost feel like there are blockades getting in your way and it's frustrating, but that in no way dampens your desire to have what it is that you have in your mind. Now, this full moon is also working with that 10th house energy as well, because the full moon in Leo is going to be in your 4th house of home, your physical home, who you literally live with. Could have something to do as well with your mother, your parents, really. But it's also metaphorically what you feel you need to feel grounded, rooted, safe, and secure, right? So we have the full moon in there, and the sun is going to be in your 10th house of career. So there's going to be this illumination, right? And I will indicate how this might be showing up in your relationship area when I get to that. But I do want to just mention this having to do with that 10th house, understanding it as career right now. So you are also going to have Mercury retrograde, right? So it's going to be stationary on the 29th, 30th, right? And then it's going to be going retrograde the beginning of February. But whenever a planet goes stationary right before retrograde, or even right after, as it's coming out of retrograde, the affect of that energy rises to the top and becomes really profound in its shadow element, right? So for Mercury, because it's so much about communication and problem solving, this could be a little bit of a trippy energy at the end of the month. But what I like is that whatever you're trying to negotiate, whatever you're trying to figure out, whatever you're trying to get going in the area of career, if you've already started negotiations, throwing out your CV or your resume, whatever it is, whatever you've done up to this point, February is a great energy to start heavily negotiating these things. I think it's really going to be starting more like actually the middle of January in that pre-shadow period, and then it goes retrograde, and then it's got to go post-shadow. So sort of like through February, I feel like that's going to be going on for you. Now, you're going to have Venus conjunct Pluto in your 9th house of belief system, of higher education, of travel. So a lot of you guys may be in this space where you're going to have this real fire in your belly to maybe live somewhere different, live abroad, travel abroad, go back to school, update your moral code and your moral compass, change the way you see something. Because Venus conjunct Pluto, that's like, Venus is about money. How do you make money? How do you feel about what you're doing? Do you love what you're doing? Pluto's about changing, right? So it's bringing these energies together in your house of belief system, but we can't ignore the fact that the 9th house is also the house of blessings and luck, because it is ruled by Jupiter, which is about luck and expansion. So at the core of this, I think it's so, so positive. You might not have all the answers to everything right now that's going on in your life, generally speaking, but what you do know is you're very deeply crystallizing however it is that you're changing in that house of beliefs. So I really like that. So let's see what we have working here. Let me pull 3 cards down. And we'll pull some Norman. So this is going to be for career, for money, for whatever you have going on in that area, whatever it is, lawsuits, anything like that. Let me pull one more row over. You guys could see these, right? Well, if you can, I'll just hold them up. I'll bring them up. Yeah, it's a little cut off, but I'll show it to you. I feel called to pull an extra row for you guys for some reason. So let's get a very solid center energy. Yeah, right? What do you really want to do? Taurus, what do you really want to do? What do you need out of this whole situation? Really, what is it that you're looking for? So starting out, we have some sort of truth coming in. Whenever we get the white feather, it's about truth, and the letter does indicate a message of some sort coming through. So let's see what we have. I love it. Judgment energy is about clarity, a final decision, a wake-up call, realizing what it is that you actually really, really want to do to bring yourself wish fulfillment. Now, this can come in, this is a message coming into you. So if it's not literally like finding out that you, about a job, about an offer, about some sort of settlement, about it, something like that, like in the 3D, it's some sort of very sort of intuitive message coming into you. But whatever it is, absolutely beautiful. Four of Wands is great. This is a strong foundation energy, first of all. It is also a reuniting energy. It's like a coming home to something sort of thing. So there can be this idea of feeling like you're coming home to something. For some of you, it's going to be realizing that you want to go back to doing something that maybe you were thinking about abandoning, having to do with career, having to do with some sort of financial situation. Some of you, literally, if you're dealing with any sort of inheritance issue, it may require you literally going home. We have the lilies. The lilies just came up for Aries as well. And Lenormand, it's one of my favorite cards because it's about getting not only help from spirit, but help from God is on your shoulders, right? But also you getting some sort of help from somebody who's crossed over, who deeply cares about you, who loves you. This is help from the other side. Now, if you don't believe in any of that, this is your intuition being so turned up and turned on, like your spidey senses are on fire here. Okay, but now when we understand the row of this, we have to understand what is the message. The message is don't give up on something. The Nine of Wands is being so tired because you've been through so much, but keep and maintain your boundaries, but still maintain a level of persistence. Focus on what's right and what's not right. Justice energy. Now, for those of you who are in any sort of, you know, if the money situation has to do with a marriage or a business partnership, that's seventh house energy, which is justice, is a Libra energy, which is the landlord of the seventh house, which is ruled by Venus. It always begs the question, how do you feel about this? Is everything equitable? Are the finances equitable? Is communication equitable? Is the love equitable? Is responsibility equitable, right? And having this realization, this truth coming to the surface and coming up with a win-win solution. So it feels like something's definitely being like negotiated and formulated. You know, again, like I said in the astrology section, February is a great time to do some negotiation. We have this working with the King of Wands energy, which is great. Love this energy, because this is about, even if you're not very you might even be a little like insecure, vulnerable, trepidatious about taking something on, either getting into something in career, taking that shot with whatever that money situation is, but you being brave anyway. That's the King of Wands energy, because it's Cancer and Leo. So Leo is where that fire energy comes from. You're going to feel very now Cancer has to do with home, Leo has to do with romance. It has to do with loving what you do. It's all about creativity. It has to do with entrepreneurial efforts, right? So for some of you, it could literally be, it's also children. So for some of you, you're very focused on this financial situation getting resolved for the sake of your children, for the sake of your business, for the sake of what it is that you really want to do, something that you've put your energy in, that you truly love. You truly do love it. And you being brave enough to not give up on it. It's a pretty powerful message. Now, as the center energy here, we do have the rose in the cage. So we have this big golden key, right? So what are we going to do with that key? Like right now, the cage is open for that creativity, whatever the answer is, to whatever the solution is here, to come out. Or are we going to take the key and lock it up and keep it in a gilded cage? It's always up to us. So what do we need to understand about manifesting whatever it is here? We have to focus on the Queen of Coin energy, which is about being resourceful, allowing something to grow, being focused on growth, being focused on keeping your feet on the floor, really, right? Very grounded energy, very resourceful, but being very focused on the idea of growth. In other words, not becoming too, I'm not going to say obsessed, but too caught up in the rigmarole of what's happening right now. Pay attention to the outcome, what the outcome would be. Like if you do this, then that's going to happen. Not so much on, well, it's not working today, so I have to discard this idea, or this is never going to work because it's not happening right now. No. That's focus on like the bigger picture. Don't be too flippant. This might be a little challenging just because of what we have going on here. You know, having this T-square, right? Having this particular full moon, right? The moon and Mars, the sun in Aquarius, T-squaring with Mars in Taurus. There can be this very strong desire to just push things forward. Overdo. Right? Inflated expectations, being really, really impatient with something. That's an energy that's going to be going around a lot, right? I mean, just generally speaking in the collective. And this is you saying, nope. And I love this for you, Taurus, because you guys are probably the most patient sign. So I see you just seeing things that other people aren't. You're being like, oh, let me step it back. Let me gain a different perspective here. Let me press the pause button for a second before jumping the gun on anything, right? And just seeing, is this a good thing for me? You just not jumping the gun on something. Being very focused on what's on the other side. I like it. The Three of Coins, this is a Mars and Capricorn energy. This is all about teamwork, collaborating, working with somebody, right? Working with, negotiating. Don't pull the trigger. Calm it down, pull it back. That's like the kind of energy that's right down in the center here. Doesn't mean don't be excited. It doesn't mean don't be, you know, in the planning phase of something. That's not what this means at all. It means be in that. Allow all of that, but don't jump at anything. Even if it seems super positive now, the energy is a little foggy right now, right, for everybody, just because it's very high. Everything is very high, and the energy is sort of like very bubbly on the surface. And I feel like, Taurus, a lot of you are going to be very capable, more than capable, of pulling it back and saying, okay, big picture time, okay, you know, just kind of pulling it back, focusing on the future, feeling super confident. I love it. Venus is just a really good energy. This is a Venus energy, right? The glyph around her neck there is the Venus symbol, which is money, which is self-worth, self-value, loving what you do, and you're looking into the future. And not only are you looking into the future, but this next card indicates a new phase in your life. So we're all entering this next phase. We can all feel it. I'm not telling anybody anything that they don't know. So what's working with this future energy here is the need to make a choice, right? You're in this space of weighing options. So this could have to do with two jobs, two paths. Should I continue what I'm doing? Should I go off on that path? Maybe you're in the same area, but you're thinking about maybe tweaking the direction or how you do something. This could be having to do with like the offering of maybe two offers on your house, two offers on some sort of project that you're doing. Okay, so it's two of something, and you're weighing the options. And you're figuring out which do you feel more Venus comfortable with in the way where it's going to serve you financially, and also you're going to feel good about what it is that you're doing. So Seven of Cups energy, it's not going to be easy for you. We have the Seven of Cups, too many choices, and you're going to have an issue with committing to one idea over the other. You just are. You're going to have a hard time doing that because something new is going to be coming in. We have this with the Princess of Cups. So there's some sort of new offering that's coming in. This is a new cycle that's going to really speak to you. This is so positive. but the page is coming in, and it's the early stages of either something new that you're just getting into, or the page brings information. The page is a communicator, bringing some sort of offering in a way that you really love. So it's not the page just brings the information. So this could be information coming in that you're like, wow, all right, here we go. This is going to just start this next cycle. This is good. I like it a lot. So again, we have this idea of starting this new cycle, but in order to start that new cycle, you have to leave something else. Six of Swords is this necessary transition. So some of you may be in a space where it's like you have a really good opportunity, but you might have to move. You have a really good opportunity, and you have to leave something that you've been doing. You know, but what I like about this is it's the necessary transition. So it could also mean like coming to the point in a lawsuit where there needs to be an agreement made. Like, you know, there's got to be some sort of meeting of the minds. That's got to happen, because if for it to continue the way it's been, it's just going to end up becoming like toxic. So we have you moving away from something here, and then clarifying that we have the beautiful Fool, which is about fresh hope, taking a chance, a new path, a new beginning. This is new, right? This is a Uranus energy. Uranus rules the future. This is about the energy of just moving forward. And I feel like Uranus is also a very sort of revolutionary energy, and because it rules Aquarius, Aquarius is unique. It's also, there's a certain level of detachment when we're talking about the Aquarius energy. So it's like you really kind of going off and doing your own thing in your High Priestess energy, trusting your own intuition. You might not have all the answers. You're not supposed to yet. The High Priestess is about having a lot of ideas in your mind, and you really not sharing them with anybody. So Taurus, for a lot of you, to have this as the closing up, you are doing some masterful shifting of energy, research, getting your ducks in a row, research, figuring out, if I want to go off on my own, this is what I need to do. If I want to change in this area, I have to do this. If I want to settle this sale or settle this lawsuit, this has to happen. And strategizing and thinking about the big picture, but it going really beautifully. You understand exactly what needs to be done. I love it. This is very much a like a masterful kind of 10th house for you energy going on for me, for sure. And I do feel like it has everything to do with the fact that Mars is in your sign, despite the fact that Mars might be in a challenging aspect to a couple of things. Those challenges are always to bring us to that next level, to help us to problem solve, right? But Mars is about fresh path, new perspectives, let's go. Mars is the ruler of Aries, which is about the Emperor being a leader, right? It is the Tower card in Tarot, which is about something not working the way it was, and now let's, you know, take that down and build something new in its place. So great energy. I feel like, Taurus, for you guys having to do with money, finances, anything that you're in having to do with that area. Now, let's see if you're so fortunate having to do with relationships. Let's see. Okay. So first spread will be for you, Taurus, and then it'll be for your person or an energy that you're dealing with. I kind of like this for you. Oh my gosh. Okay. So looking at the astrology, all this reference that I've been making to the 10th house. 10th house is career, but it's also your public reputation and your standing in the world. Therefore, it does include the institution of marriage. Okay. So when we have this full moon energy, this beautiful full moon Leo, what is it? It has to do with romance and children, right? We have this hitting in your 4th house of home. Okay, now the sun in Aquarius is going to be in your 10th house, right? So that sun, 10th house marriage, is going to be shining down on that 4th house where Leo's going to be. How are you feeling in that energy, Taurus? I actually think that this is quite a beautiful energy, honestly, for there being a lot of really good redressing of whatever maybe isn't working in marriage in a really positive way. Now, I'm not even getting into this. I'm talking about for the archetype of Taurus. It does depend on what else you have in your chart, and this is not a private reading. But Mercury is going to be retrograde in your 10th house. So if we also understand that this is in the 10th house of career, there could be definitely challenges in communication, but because there's a lack of understanding. So if there were issues leading up to this is a great energy to revisit and revise, release unhealthy ways of being, re-engage with things that are positive. Anything, right? And for you guys, Venus is going to be conjunct Pluto in your 9th house of belief systems, of your moral code, your moral compass. It's also Venus conjunct Pluto. Venus, beautiful, love, feeling good, self-esteem, absolutely gorgeous energy, right? Conjunct, blending with Pluto about transformation. Let's get right into this. 9 of Pentacles. Right now, though, I feel like you're just a little focused on you and staying a little disconnected. Can't say I blame you. A lot of you, and not even being reflective of your partner. This could be just because of the world we're living in and there being weirdness. I feel like a lot of you are just kind of focused on making your money, making sure that you're self-sufficient. God forbid anything happens, there's enough money, that you have available to you. This is about financial gains, solo pleasures, really focusing on your stuff, focusing on your work, focusing on what you like to do, focusing on your needs. And we have this working with the King of Swords, though, which is about being very strategic and intentional and not allowing emotions to wash over anything. So, and this has to do, this is where you're at in relationship. I don't know if this is going to make sense to you guys, but this is what I'm being called to say. Because sometimes I say things and they don't really make a lot of sense to me, but I'm being called to say it. It's almost like you saying, without this, then there can't be that. Without this, there can't be that. Like without you addressing, without you feeling whole in your ability to take care of yourself and to feel like you have what you want, need, and desire in place. I'm not even getting in a selfish way. I'm just getting in a way where it's like honoring yourself and having self-respect. You're not capable of, nothing else matters beyond that. If you don't feel whole within yourself, it's always going to feel like fitting a circle in a square if you're in relationship with somebody, if you don't feel whole within yourself. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so then we have the 7 of Wands coming into this energy. In the past, you were in a space of self-defense, trying to defend why it is that you want, need, and desire, what you want, need, and desire. That could be a frustrating energy, but it's not a bad energy by any stretch. This is Mars and Leo. It's about standing up for yourself and saying, look, the reality is this is what I need. It's who I am. You establishing what it is that you want, need, and desire, and you focusing on, completing yourself. Those of you, everybody's in different stages, different ages, right? Those of you who are in a space where you're doing a lot of self-work, a lot of self-healing, a lot of shadow work, really working on yourself, I love it. Because this is like this really healthy mindset of saying, like, if I don't get myself in that really healthy mind space, how in the world can I be anything positive with anybody else? Right? It's like you have the foresight to understand that that's a beautiful setup for projection, for displacement of unhappiness, blaming the other person if you're not totally happy within yourself. I don't get that that's where you guys are at. I get that you totally really working on being the healthiest version of Taurus, right? Look at this beautiful crowning energy, Knight of Cups. I love it. If you guys are single, you're meeting somebody new. If you guys are with somebody and you guys are going through something, beautiful, beautiful offering. Let's get married. Let's get engaged. Let's move in. Let's have a baby. Let's buy a house. Let's open a business. Let's move forward in life. Love it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at the foundation. Taurus. So good. 10 of Pentacles. Maturity. Family. Beautiful. Being connected. Ten of Pentacles it's kind of like this legacy energy, I always say. So it's like, even if you guys aren't actually married, it's, you know what I mean? Like when you feel like you're family with somebody, even if you're not really family, even if you're not really even married, it's like they're your people. And you feel like you have this supported network of people who are like that as well. Now you see how many people are in this card. You got kids, you got other people. I love it. Different ages, different races, it's just like people band, the dog is thrown in there, right? Beautiful energy, deepening of commitment, deepening of communication. The Ten of Pentacles is a will you marry me card. It's will you take this deeper, because the Ten of Pentacles is all about deepening to bring to maturity, right? It's not only about money. It can be about money. For some of you, this can also be indicative of a Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. We may be purchasing a house with the help of family, or there's help coming in. There's a lot of like reciprocity. Beautiful energy. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, Taurus, but why are you feeling like this right now? Why are you feeling this Nine of Swords? What's going on? You're feeling anxious about something. You're worried about the path. You're worried about the path that it's taking, because the Nine of Swords is a Mars in Gemini. So Mars is that warrior planet in that internal dialogue, right? Because this is a very internal energy. So, Gemini being the air sign, that's the swords, that's communication, this being internal conversation. And Mars really just being very focused on what's the right thing for you, where do you belong? So you might be in that space of figuring out, like, even if things are going well, you might be in this very interesting space, Taurus, of like, is this ultimately what I really want? Or is this even going to be possible? Some of you may be feeling very anxious about, like, let's say your partner's like, let's do this, Taurus, I'm so excited. And you may be being a little scared, maybe because of something that happened in the past, something like that. And you worrying. It's like a worry energy. Now, the energy external to you that's going to be influencing you is this Page of Pentacles energy. So it's almost like there's new money coming in, maybe either to you or to your partner or to a situation. Page is a new cycle. It does indicate money news coming in, a raise, a new job, something like that. Now, this is something that's happening external to you, which is why I said maybe a partner, but it's going to be influencing your situation. It's going to be impacting what happens with you. Okay. Now, the Page of Pentacles can also mean, for some of you, because this is not a personal reading, so I want to give all of the general interpretations as well. Page can be a new cycle, and Pentacle can also be mental, physical, emotional connection. So some of you may be dealing with some sort of new connection that's come in from the outside. So you met somebody else, and that somebody else is impacting how you feel being in this relationship. Or you might be dealing with an energy that you're trying to work something out, but you feel like maybe they met somebody new and you're trying to navigate that. So that's going to be for some of you, not for all of you. Obviously, don't try to make it fit if it's not your message. Take which part resonates. Now, we have the challenge and the blessing. The hope, rather. The hope and the fear is the Empress energy. Yeah. So I just feel like you so badly want something to work, but you're afraid that it won't. Taurus, if you're in that space, if you're resonating with what I just said, remember, thoughts become things. We can control what we think. We can, So try to stay very glass half full. Try to stay optimistic. That doesn't mean to not be realistic, but, the Empress energy is about fertility, creation, abundance, the ability to grow. This is Venus. Venus is a money planet. It's love. It's feeling good. It's really just a fabulous energy. The Empress is the mother of the tarot. So you very much want something to rise. That's what you want, but you're afraid that it won't happen. Now, in the near future, I love it, we have Temperance. Temperance is all about balance and harmony. This is a Sagittarius energy. It's about moving forward with integrity. It's ruled by Jupiter, which is about luck and expansion. Beautiful. So it's luck and expansion, but by exercising some self-control and patience. There's got to be some patience exercised here. They have to be patient too. I feel like you can be more patient. Just your natural disposition. I don't know what else is in your particular chart, but wherever our Taurus is, there's usually this level of patience and a high level of acceptance, right? And so we have the closing energy here. We have the Four of Swords for you. So the Four of Swords is about resting and retreating a little bit to think. It's a thinking energy, right? And what are you thinking about? Because swords are all about thoughts and truth. What are you thinking about? It's a Jupiter and Libra energy. Jupiter expands whatever it's in. So Jupiter expanding the idea of Libra, which is ruled by Venus, and it's all about what's fair, what's not fair, what's equal. How do you feel in this? And really focusing your thoughts on that. Things going to be equitable regarding finances. Are things going to be equitable in this union, right? Because 7th house is very much a union energy. And I feel like this is going to be resonating with a lot of you who are in like a very serious relationship at this point. Maybe you're going to be purchasing a house, getting married, moving in together, making some sort of agreement together that's going to require some sort of paperwork, right? Because that is that Libra level of partnership, because it's the justice energy. It's like what's fair, what's not fair, let's sign the papers kind of thing. But really thinking also about what it is that you ultimately want. What is it that you want? Now, what I like about the Four of Swords is it tells me that there's going to be a stepping back, this retreating, and sort of pulling back to get a clear perspective. So for a lot of you, you might feel like energetically in this relationship, you've been going like 200 miles an hour, trying to figure, trying to problem solve, trying to do, right? Really trying. You were in a space of feeling like you needed to protect yourself. Now you're pulling back and trying to work on yourself, and then somebody's wanting to push something forward, and it's like you almost saying like, hold on, okay, this may be all fabulous, but I really have to figure out how to roll this out in the way that's good for everybody, you know, and not just jumping a million miles an hour into something, but pulling back and saying, okay, really, what is the right thing here? I don't know. I think that's positive. I'm seeing that as positive. I like it. Let's see what's going on with your person. Let's see what's going on with your person. We have the Ace of Cups here, right, in the past. So the Eight of Cups is about withdrawing, retreating, moving on, abandoning a situation, right? Because in their mind, right, the Eight of Cups is a Saturn and Pisces. Something became too difficult. Maybe you broke up with them, they broke up with you, or something just became too challenging. They were like with sadness but no regret, realizing that something was just not going to work, right? But then here we have them in the Nine of Wands. With the Nine of Wands is still having fire in their belly for you. Having a lot of boundaries, definitely having some boundaries up, but there being a level of persistence in there. And we have the Six of Wands as the complementing energy. And Six of Wands is beautiful. This is about some sort of good news coming in, and that good news bringing victory, bringing some sort of success to the situation. So, you know, especially maybe, I don't know, if there was some sort of something that was getting in the way of you guys being together, whether it was money, location, something, right? Where there is then this message delivered that ends up being good news that ends up inciting this success in this situation. So I don't feel like this situation, I feel like you feel the same way too, though. Like you have fire in your belly still, but it does feel like everybody still has these boundaries up. Okay, now we have the Daughter of Swords. So the Daughter of Swords here is all about some sort of truth coming out, right? There's some sort of truth being realized is the crowning energy. And then we have the Son of Cups. You guys still love each other. I mean, look, this is the reality, because this is about a proposal coming in. This is like Prince Charming, Princess Charming, some sort of proposal coming in. Beautiful is the foundation. So it's the truth of something coming in. So again, this could be like, let's get married, let's buy a house, let's move in together, let's get engaged, have a baby, let's do something, but whatever stage you're at, obviously that's going to drive however you're going to, resonate with this. Now, them right now, they're the Mother of Cups, would be the Queen of Cups. Very beautiful, nurturing energy. But what I love about this, like we say nurturing energy, right? Okay, fine. What does that really mean? Okay, because the Queen of Cups is a Gemini and Cancer energy. So Gemini is all about communication and the openness to learn something. And Cancer is about the 4th house of home, of feeling grounded, rooted, safe, and secure. So you're dealing with somebody who is definitely ready, willing, and able to at least have that conversation. Might not happen right away, but at least they're very open to having the conversation in that Gemini area. I like, because that shows support. That shows the ability to heal and the ability to nurture a situation. And that's where they're at right now. Now, the energy that's external to them, that is impacting them right now, is the Son of Wands energy. So very sort of lusty and free-spirited energy that's impacting them right now. So if this is a general energetic influence, they are super attracted to you. They are very excited to move forward in this with you. Now for some of you, this is definitely, how do I explain this? The energy of this is very, very much surrounding them. Now, I'm not getting that they're meeting somebody new, because, this night, first of all, this is somebody external. This is an external energy. External. Okay? So this could be them meeting somebody who is very sort of lusty and free-spirited, who's interested in them, or this could be their perception of you. This is not them, though. This is not them. I don't see this being them. This could be their fear. There's the Chariot. But it could be energy where they may not be sure if they could trust you. I have to keep it real, Taurus. I have to give the different interpretations, and the Son of Wands can mean that. That lusty and free-spirited energy just kind of field. And so they may be kind of vibing that or that you're very excited about other things other than them. So that could even be like you're just very focused on creating something having to do with your career and less focused on the relationship. But this could just be what they're feeling. Now, in the hope and the fear, we have the Chariot energy, which is about action and change. So they really want to have action and change in this relationship, but they may also be fearing it. Because the Chariot's moving from one space to the other, so it's about change. It's Cancer, right? The Chariot is a Cancer energy. So this could be the person that you're dealing with may want to move in with you, but they may be nervous. They may want to buy a house with you, but they may be nervous. But this is very they're nervous about something. They're nervous about the foundation of your relationship and feeling safe and being able to feel secure. They want to. They're like, I don't know. Now, in the near future, we have the 4 of Cups energy, which is the feeling of being unfulfilled, feeling rather apathetic. But the thing is here, it's like this kind of thing where we're never going to work because of ABC. We can't, and just not being generally like happy with the way things are going. But what they need to do here, Taurus, is they need to understand what is getting in their way of feeling this happiness. Because when you get the 4 of Cups, chances are it's not you. Chances are it's some sort of vulnerability, insecurity that they're still nursing, that they haven't healed from their past, that the situation with you is poking at. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really you. It's just like this situation that I feel like you're just simply going to need to address, and have to work with the Knight of Pentacles, with the Son of Pentacles, rather, which would be like the Knight of Pentacles and other decks. This is about being very patient and hardworking and this connection and putting in the hard work. So So Taurus, I definitely feel like they're willing to work at something with you. There's no question. But they may go through this period where they're afraid of the change, and it starts to bring up the feelings of vulnerability and insecurity inside of them that you may end up needing to deal with, you know, at the end of that. Some hard oracles. In the beginning. Very nice. Uranus, change. Sagittarius, moving forward with luck, integrity, and expansion. Beautiful. Freedom. There is nothing stopping you. The path is clear if you want it to be. New beginning, new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. Deep in your heart, you already know the answer. Do what feels right. Beautiful. Closing energy. Let's pull an Astro card. Beautiful. The numinous mystery. This is about trusting your intuition. There's something that you don't know. You don't see something on the other side of this, and you have to just trust it. What is your intuition telling you? Those of you who know that you have some sort of psychic abilities, what are you being told, right? Paying attention to the tingling. Paying attention to the sudden feeling of cold. Paying attention to things going strange with any of your electronics, anything like that. Paying attention to the symbolism that's trying to get through in your life right now. Taurus, you get your messages in your body. You guys are the body. So you get your messages in your body, which is why I'm telling you, right? To definitely pay attention to that. Beautiful. Doing some good shadow work as well. That is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys next time.